so that leads me to kind of another question while you mentioned that was, so how do you help brands operationally sort of stay resilient, when there's so many supply chain variables that are constantly changing? There's, fuel surcharges and tariffs and all this other stuff that's happening. Like, it seems like all the time now. You have to be on it and kind of helping brands navigate that. What are some ways in which you're helping your clients do that?
Yeah, so we definitely, we have to be really, really good at sort of predicting what's going to happen at least over the next 30 days or so. Now, this e-commerce division of ours is one part of a bigger company. So we move a lot of freight globally. We move a lot of containers. We move a lot of air freight. So we have a lot of data and a lot of sort of trends available. Like, we have trends available to us to analyze and say, all right, what do we think is going to happen in the next 30 days, right? And by doing that, we're basically taking on the risk. So if a customer of ours, sells a product that has, let's say, 2 weeks lead time, we will never go back and say, oh, by the way, your rate changed, right? Or your rate expired. So a product that's sold and the customer checks out and pays for it, that's the price that the merchant's going to pay to move it. Now, in the beginning, sometimes you might have incorrect data. A product may be heavier than they initially expected, or but we try to work through those corrections early on so that we have accurate data. We know exactly how much something weighs, what the dimensions are, so we don't run into unexpected corrections. But we understand this is sort of it's a stage you have to go through, so we're pretty flexible. But generally, we take on a lot of the risk of the supply chain related, be it disruptions or rate changes and things like that. And tariffs, as disruptive as they've been, typically, you do get a little bit of a notice period, so even though the American, White House administration might announce new tariffs, it actually takes several weeks before they go into effect. There's a lot of background work that needs to be done for those to work. But it's been also a great sort of catalyst in a lot of cases. So, a lot of the American brands we talk to come to us because they used to be able to sell to Canada and they no longer can, right? Because you import your product to United States, it's subject to pretty severe tariffs, upwards of 50%. So now you've paid 50% tariff on your cost of goods. You can't compete with the Canadian importer anymore with your US inventory, right? Your product's already 50% more expensive than the Canadian importer. So what they've in the past, they used to ship to Canada from US. Now what they do is they basically enable our solution, and then when they sell in Canada, we ship from China directly to Canada, bypassing the United States tariffs, right? So that's allowed actually a lot of American brands to continue selling in Canada without having to pay tariffs on that product.
Smart. That's solving the problem for your clients. So that's awesome. A couple more questions. What, just kind of shifting this a little bit, what's one hard learned lesson that you've learned helping brands go global that you wish sort of every D2C operator knew?
It's the thing that we run into very often, our sales team runs into very often, is a lot of brands, maybe rightfully so, think that it's a lot harder than it actually is, right? So you'll see brands that block international traffic, right? And it's like, these people are coming to buy your product. Like, why would you do that, right?
Right.
So it's actually it's pretty easy to sell internationally, at least to some of the markets where it's more native, right? So like, if you're an American brand, you should absolutely be selling to every major English-speaking country in the world, right? You don't have to redo your website, you don't have to adjust your language, right? It's very easy to enable it, and a lot of brands just don't think of it in those terms. It's more, when you're talking about international expansions, they're all thinking, oh, we're going to go to trade shows, we're going to find partners, we're going to at some point expand. It's really not that far out. You can do it very quickly. You can be up and running in multiple countries in a matter of a couple of weeks, right? And that's just something I wish more brands knew and thought in those terms.